We recently just got tons of FNAF news from a rating for the FNAF movie that fans are really mad about, some new casts and set photos, and at the end we even talk about some official confirmation that the long-awaited FNAF RUIN DLC is finally in beta. Like the video if you're excited, and as a reward, here's a picture of a cute dolphin. So starting off with FNAF movie news, once again we have a ton to talk about here. Last week we recently got confirmation from the puppeteer Artie Esposito that they are going to be in the film on Facebook, and more specifically they clarified that they will be working on puppets for Freddy, Fazbear, and Golden Freddy, which essentially proves to us that along with the animatronics, there's going to be suits or puppets of some sorts, which is something we speculated upon for a while. Next up, we had a minor cast rumor that could be absolutely massive, as actress Jofia Love, who was already cast for the film as Ghost Kid 5, recently posted on Instagram saying, "Blumhouse just dropped the news. Five Nights at Freddy's will be released October 27th, so exciting. And yes, you can catch me in it, and actually my whole family participated in some way, so it will be an exciting one for us." Which is an extremely interesting detail since one of Jofiel's brothers is Raphael Luce, who is actually most well known for acting and playing a role in Stranger Things. So that would be a major person for them to cast if it's true. However, all she said was that her family was involved with the movie, so that could be anything from main roles to extras to just helping behind the scenes. It could really be about anything. But remember this rumor for later because it comes up again in a later report. The next big piece of FNAF movie news is that recently a fellow YouTuber named Dolly Dakshind, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, recently uploaded a video titled "I'm in the FNAF movie." And in this video, Dolly details that they were cast for the film as some sort of extra, and while they weren't able to show us too much because of NDAs, they told us a few things about the movie worth covering. For starters, they showed us their outfit that they are presumably going to be wearing in the film, and it definitely fits the more retro vibe. They also told us that the movie was supposedly being filmed inside of some sort of abandoned, repurposed Lowe's store, which actually makes sense since these movie sets are usually just built in massive warehouses. And they even got to show off a big art wall where we could see a bunch of actors signed off like Joseph Poliquin and Christian Stokes, along with the content creators who recently visited the set, Raz, 8-Bit Ryan, Baz, and Dawko. Not to mention, the biggest of all, this drawing here is supposedly rumored to be drawn by none other than Scott Cawthon. And first off, it's still insane seeing Scott hanging around here in 2023 still, and also he's a pretty good artist himself. However, by far the biggest part of this video is that in the comments, Dolly was answering a few questions from people about the film, confirming things about the role, like saying they were just a background character, and possibly most importantly, somebody actually asked them what the movie's ratings would be, either PG-13 for 13-year-olds and up, or rated R for adults only. To which Dolly would reply saying that on set the movie was confirmed to be PG-13. And this news like absolutely broke the internet. I'm talking the word PG-13 was trending on Twitter, and people all over forums were absolutely outraged about this news. Mostly because if you didn't know, a lot of the FNAF movies targeted fan base is going to be an older audience or a young but also eager audience, since the movie has been in production for over 8 years now, and a lot of older fans have become adults and are wanting a much more uncensored, brutal version of the movie. However, this totally makes sense for it to be PG-13 in my opinion. We haven't heard a single thing about gore being in the movie, and honestly, it would make no sense for them to make a 17+ movie about a game after releases like Security Breach, which were designed to target younger audiences, and then expect the movie to do well. It doesn't make any sense. Plus, it's not even really like FNAF is that gory of a series. What's the worst we could see? Springtrap locking up on William Afton, maybe? I mean, sure, there's probably going to be the occasional horror elements or murder elements seen within the movie, but those aren't things that can't happen in a PG-13 movie. Some of the best horror movies on screen are all PG-13 as well. So for me anyway, it doesn't really make sense for it to be an R-rated movie, of course assuming that this comment is telling the truth, which it might actually not be. As after all the outrage, Christian Stokes, another actor in the film, actually came out on Twitter saying, "I've been getting the question about the rating a lot lately. Truth is, nothing official has been announced. Also, a lot of things are said on set, people discussing the subject just like we do here. It's not official. Whether it's R or PG-13, it will be great." So while there's certainly tons of rumors and the staff probably know better than we do about what's going on in the set, there is essentially no real confirmation about what the movie is going to be rated, and we probably won't know it for a while. But while most of that stuff is pretty interesting, I also wanted to bring up a bunch of alleged leaks that we've been getting through the past couple weeks too, since we've been getting a lot of hearsay alleged leaks, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think these are real. So basically, Essentially, this leaking account named Slender recently posted a photo of what is supposed to be a strip of Freddy's animatronic or suit hair being used in the movie, and alongside it is a balloon with the logo on it that is supposed to be used for some sort of party or something going on in the pizzeria. Now, this is an interesting alleged leak, but the person also made tons of other claims about the FNAF movie, such as saying that for most of the film, the animatronics are worn down and scary looking, and that we only see them in good condition during flashbacks, which is something that's more of a rumor than a real leak. And also, they had made a couple tweets regarding the previously mentioned Jofia Love Instagram post about her brother Raphael Luce, before reporting that they supposedly confirmed Raphael will indeed be in the movie, and was supposedly appear in a training video for the restaurant that is shown during a flashback, also featuring a woman talking about how to operate the suits. Now, for all these leaks I just mentioned, while they gained a ton of traction, there is basically no way to tell if they are all real or fake. I've seen some people say that there's no proof and others saying that they are a reliable leaker. However, I would take these leaks with a massive grain of salt because they are at best simply just rumors. I mean, to their credit, they did report a long time ago that the FNAF movie was PG rated way before the actor started talking about it, so maybe that's proof they're reliable, but I really just wanted to see your guys' thoughts on these leaks in the comments below. Moving on from FNAF movie news though, let's talk about the Ruin DLC. So as you guys surely already know, previously I've talked about how a Ruin teaser leaked on the securitybreachtv.com website that in the source code had dates April 6th and April 13th on them, suggesting some sort of brand new teaser would come out on those dates. And now that both of those dates has passed, unfortunately none of them ended up revealing any teasers or anything like that. There was a PlayStation State of Play on the April 13th, but that also told us nothing. So unfortunately, we are sort of left in the dark in those regards. However, on the bright side, we recently got a massive update for Ruin when the Steam page was updated from the alpha Ruin build to now most recently we got new Steam updates for the game named FNAF 9 beta shipping and FNAF 9 beta development, which essentially proves to us that the FNAF Ruin DLC has now gone from its alpha stages all the way now into an official beta, which actually tells us a ton about the game's place in development and some really good news at that. Because for starters, it tells us that the entire game and its concept have to be finished by now. Since of course, if you didn't know, the game development cycle usually starts at some sort of planning or prototype staging where they are still deciding ideas, to sometimes a pre-alpha, then an official alpha, which the game has been in as of recently, and finally beta right before the final release. So they probably already have the entire story and gameplay mechanics of Ruin figured out and finalized. But also most importantly, this means that the DLC has to literally be within like a month or two tops of being completed, since once the game reaches alpha, that's when it generally first hits a playable state, and by the time the game is in beta, it's usually just going through some rigorous bug testing to try and smooth everything out that they missed while first creating the game in previous versions. And as you could guess, this probably also means that we are getting incredibly close to the game finally being released. Now, in terms of release dates, all just because the game is nearing completion in a month or so doesn't mean it's releasing in a couple months. In fact, I'd say with the buggy release of Security Breach, it'll probably take a while longer for them to finish up some playtesting, and also they still probably have to make cinematic trailers and everything for promotion since they just now finished the major development, and from here can develop teasers and promos to advertise the game, along with them needing to set some extra time in case any big game-breaking bugs or anything come up as well. But while it may be a while, we should be expecting some real news from the developers incredibly soon. And to get that news as soon as it comes out, make sure you're subscribed here. Let me know your favorite piece of news from this video, and peace.